Hello learners, I am Dr. Subodh K. Sharwani, working with Indira Gandhi National Open University in School of Management Studies. The topic which I am going to talk today is correlation coefficient. We have already talked a lot about correlation, what is the use of correlation, how it is going to bring the relationship between two variables, and when we are going to talk more about the correlation coefficient, this is basically advanced version of correlations. In our preceding sessions we have seen that how we have talk about the correlation as well as the scatter diagram, which had a very important impact when you talk about the correlation coefficient. So anyway, we just recapitulate in a very faster mode that in our preceding sessions we have talked about collection of data. Preservation of data is a very important ingredient, and when we talk about this correlation coefficient or this chapter 10, or we can say the unit 10, it revolves around the four important ingredients, and this is a very important aspect because how you are going to process the data and how you are going to preserve the data, that is going to play a very important role. And this already we are covering in our sessions, and we are in the block 2 right now. And if we talk more about already we have covered a lot about correlation, scatter diagram. We have talk about scatter diagram in a more elaborative manner, how we can plot the scatter diagram, what is the use of scatter diagram, and what are certain the benefits and what are certain the limitations about the scatter diagram. So we have already seen that the correlation coefficient is an advanced version of the correlation, and which revolves around the Karp-Pearson correlation coefficient. There are certain formulas, there are certain the derivatives which are very important when you are going to correlate the coefficient, and testing for the significance of correlation coefficient, and then Spearman rank correlation is there. So anyway, we will talk more about correlation, and once we accomplish the correlation, then we can move into the regression analysis. There are various ways by which the regression can be done. Either it could be the simple linear regression or estimating the linear regression. Then standard error for estimate is there, and then coefficient of determination is there. Finally, we can also talk about that what is the difference between the correlation and regression, because wherever because there are certain constraints as far as the correlation is concerned. Correlation, when we have got more than two variables, I think we are not in a position to apply the correlation. In that case, we can switch over into regression analysis. So anyway, in this particular chapter we have two components, one is correlation, other is regression, and we are just focusing on the volume 2 of correlation coefficient. So correlation coefficient is a statistical index of the degree to which two variables are associated or related, and we can determine whether one variable is related to another by seeing whether scores on the two variables co-vary, whether they vary together. This we can look after. And the correlation coefficient is a numerical measure of some type of correlation, meaning a statistical relationship between two variables. The variables may be two columns of a given data set of observations, often called as a sample, or two components of a multivariate random variable with a known distribution. So this is the beauty of correlation coefficient. And when you are going to talk about the correlation coefficient, is a statistical measure of the strength of the relationship between the relative movements of two variables. So we have to be quite focused that the variable need to be 2 and not more than 2. So a correlation of 0.0 shows no linear relationship between the movement of the two variables. And when you are going to talk about the correlation statistics, which can be used in finance and investing, and there are great use of all those things, because these students, the learners to whom we are cater this particular course, this is designed for the Master of Commerce student, and they are the postgraduate student who can be the future entrepreneur. They can be the analyst, they can be the research analyst, they can be the statistical analyst. So for them, and they can become a business analyst also. So in that case, there is a great use of finance and as far as the investigation is concerned. So understanding the correlation coefficient is quite important, because there are several types of correlation coefficient. But the one that is most common is the Pearson correlation, which can be denoted by the small r. This measures the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two variables. It cannot capture non-linear relationship between two variables and cannot differentiate between dependent and independent variables. So we have seen that how the dependent variables and independent variables differs, and what is the use of that. So value of exactly 1.0 means there is a perfect positive relationship between the two variables, and for a positive increase in one variable there is also a positive increase in the second variable. So a value of -1 means there is a perfect negative relationship between the two variables. This shows that variable move in opposite directions. So for a positive increase in one variable there is decrease in the second variable. So if the correlation between two variables is 0, there is no linear relationship between them, and the strength of the relationship varies in degree based on the value of the correlation coefficient. For example, a value of 0.2 shows there is a positive correlation between two variables, but it is weak and likely unimportant. So analysts in some fields of study do not consider correlations important until the value surpasses at least 0.8. So however, a correlation coefficient with an absolute value of 0.9 or greater would represent a very strong relationship. So we will see how this coefficient of correlation or correlation coefficient is very important. So correlation coefficient measures whether one random variable changes with another, and as far as in regression analysis, such an association is parameterized by statistical model, which we are going to talk more about in a more elaborative manner in our coming sessions, which focus exclusively on regression analysis. So it allows a more detailed qualitative description of the correlation. So correlation focuses primarily on association between variables. It aims at finding a numerical value expressing the relationship. So this is a very important ingredient as far as the calculation is concerned, because the pedagogy need to be understood while applying the correlation. So there are certain examples of correlation coefficient. A correlation coefficient of 1 means that for every positive increase in one variable there is a positive increase of a fixed proportion in the other. So what we have observed that the relationship is there, and when we are going to talk about the positive increase, I think one variable is definitely going to enhance or increase the positive increase of fixed proportion in the other. So shoe size go up in almost perfect correlation with foot length. So that is very true. If the foot length is high, or the shoe size is automatically go up. So 0 means that for every increase there is a positive or negative increases. So this is a thing which is there, and perfect positive relationship between the variable is denoted by +1. Perfect negative relationship between the variable is quoted by -1, and no relation exists between the variables by 0. So strong to weak, strong is 1, weak is 0.5, and 0.0 is almost 0 where there is no relationship. So negative correlation, and when you talk about the positive correlation, it goes up to from plus 0.5 to plus 1.0. So from weak to strong. So this is a manner by which we can pictorially talk about, and because it varies, if we talk about the correlation coefficient, it varies from -1 to +1. So any figure would be there. So what we have observed that the correlation coefficient ranges from -1 to +1. The sign shows the direction of the relationship. The size in absolute value without the sign describe the strength of the relationship, and there are bivariate between two variables or zero order correlations and partial. So the correlation coefficient is a measure of the strength and the direction of a linear relationship between two variables. The symbol is usually denoted by small r, represent the sample correlation coefficient, and the formula for r is n, this sigma xy minus, in brackets we have sigma x, then we have sigma y, and then in square roots we have n sigma square minus sigma x square in bracket, and then square roots of n sigma y square minus sigma y whole square. So anyway, this is the formula, and the range of the correlation coefficient we have already talked about is varies from -1 to 1. If x and y have a strong positive linear correlation, r is close to 1. If an x and y have a strong negative linear correlation, r is close to -1. So if there is no linear correlation or a weak linear correlation, r is close to 0. So anyway, different type of correlation coefficient is there. After obtaining the data of two variables, you need to find the relationship, and it can be either Pearson, which can be denoted by small r, is applicable to measure the association between two continuous scaled variables, and or you have Spearman, which is suitable to rank order, ordinal rank, not affected by sample size. So this is the way by which the different types of correlation coefficient is there. But when you have one binary variable, that is yes or no or male or female, and one continuous scale variable is the point biserial correlation, that is PBC, which can be abbreviated as, or biserial correlation, that is BC coefficient should be used instead. So in the point biserial correlation coefficient, the binary variable should be naturally dichotomous, such as a gender, and if the binary variable is artificially dichotomized, this variable may be viewed as having an underlying continuity. So for example, an instructor may use a cut score to classify the examinees into pass and fail. In this case, the biserial correlation is a more appropriate approach. So what we have observed, that when we have seen in our preceding session, when we were talking about linear correlation, we have seen that how the linear correlation is going to be very important, because what we do, we start with the variables, then these variables are either at the x-axis, or we can say the horizontal axis, or the vertical axis, which is considered to be the y-axis, and then we plot the dots on the basis of the figure put in the boxes of the respective variables. And then we can sometimes we observe that the dots are quite near, and when the dots are moving from this left direction to right direction in a downward manner, it considered to be a strong negative correlation, and when it is moving from right direction to left, this left direction to right direction in an upward manner, it's considered as a strong positive correlation. So you see, when we are talking about from left to right, it is from bottom left to upward right, and weak positive correlation is somewhat where you are not going to find out the relationship. And when you are talking about non-linear relationship, you see that you are not in a position to fit a line, just a best fit line, what we can say. So there is non-linear correlation. So what you see, if you talk about the values, if we talk about strong negative correlation, the value of R is 0.91, which is somewhat more near to negative -1. If we talk about strong positive relationship, it is very near to 1, that is 0.88, and if we talk about weak positive correlation, it is somewhat very near to mid of the thing. So we have already talked about what could be the strong negative relationship, what could be a strong positive relationship correlation, and what could be the weak positive correlationship. So non-linear is somewhat where you are not in a position to find out, and the value of the R is somewhat very near to 0. So it is almost 0. When you talk about a 0 correlation, you have no relationship between the two. So when you are going to calculate a correlation coefficient, find the sum of the x value, which is denoted by sigma x, and find the sum of y values denoted by sigma y, and multiply each by this, and then you can find out the values of sigma x square, sigma y square, and then put it all in the formula which we have already talked in our preceding slides. So when you are going to put the values in the formula, you get the result. So now we can see how we can plot, how we can calculate coefficient correlation with which we usually call the small r for the following data. So this is sigma x, that is summation of x 1 2 3 3 3 6 4 10 to 12. So total of this variable x, then total of y, because some numbers are negative, so we have got negative value, and some number of y. So now xy multiplied, and this is the manner we can do that. And then what we have done, we have put this all in the formula, and while putting it in the formula, we get the result which comes to 0.986, which is a strong positive linear correlation. If the values comes in minus and somewhat lies near about 0.9, it is considered as a negative, strong negative linear correlation. So this is the way by which we are going to plot the graphs and formulate the correlation coefficient. So the following data represent the number of hours 12 different students watched television during the weekend, and the scores of each student who took the test on the following Monday. It's like that: display the scatter plot and calculate the correlation coefficient. This we have to do it. So now what we have done, we have seen that we have taken x as a horizontal axis and y as a vertical axis, and then we have started putting the figures. So the first figure is somewhat comes to, because x have got a 0 value and y have got 96, so it is coming here. If we have taken 1, so 1 is here, and then 85 is here. So what we have done, we have put the second dot here. In the same manner, we have done it. If we take a 7, or 10, then 10 is here and 50 is here. So what we have done, we have plotted like this. Now you see what there is no relationship is coming between the two. So Now, taking the same examples, we continued. I think we find out the value and calculate. So now the negative value is coming. So there is a strong negative linear correlation. As the number of hours spent watching TV increases, the test scores tend to decrease. That is very true, because if you spend so much time in watching the TV, you are not in a position to emphasize more on your studies, and ultimately your class performance, your test performance is going to be deteriorated. So this is the manner by which we have done it, and we have seen that how how in this particular figure we have taken that. So anyway, we have seen that how we have plotted that the same diagram, and when we talk about the scatter diagram, it's looked like that, and when we talk about the Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation, the value is going to be calculated by this way. So anyway, testing a population correlation coefficient, once the sample correlation coefficient R has been calculated, we need to determine whether there is enough evidence to decide the population correlation, which is coefficient which is known by the rho or the small p is significant to specified level of significance. And one way to determine this is to use the table. So what we have done, we have seen that 0.754 is coming. So for a sample size of n is equal to 6, rho is significant. This is explained by the rho at 5% significance, and the level if is R is greater than 0.811. So finding the correlation coefficient in words, determine the number of pairs of data in the sample, and symbol is n. Specify the level of significance, identify as alpha, then find the critical values and use table 11 in appendix B. So if R is greater than critical value, the correlation is significant, otherwise there is not enough evidence to support that the correlation is significant. So it decides the correlation is significant, and interpret the decision in the context of the original claim. So this is a way by which we are going to test the population correlation coefficient, and following data represent number of hours 12 different students watch television. We have already taken the same example. Is the correlation coefficient alpha is equal to 0.01, and when we have plotted, when we have formulated, I think the value is coming this. So R is coming greater than 0.708, which means that the population correlation is significant because there is enough evidence at the 1% level of significance to, and when we are going to conclude that there is a significant linear correlation between the number of hours of television watched during the weekend and the scores of each student who took a test on the following Monday. So hypothesis test can also be used to determine whether the sample correlation coefficient R provides enough evidence to conclude that the population correlation coefficient rho is significant at a specified level of significance. So when we are talking about hypothesis test, can be one-tailed or two-tailed. So in our coming sessions, when we will see that, we will talk about testing of the hypothesis, and there is a great use of that. So null hypothesis is, as we have seen, that is greater than or equal to 0, no significant negative correlation, and when alternate hypothesis is greater than 0, significant negative correlation. So this is called no significant positive correlation and significant positive correlation. So this is called left-tailed and right-tailed. So when we have talked about the this skewness, we have seen that how the figure is going to be emphasized with the help of left-tailed and right-tailed, and two-tailed test is there. So hypothesis testing, the t-test is the correlation coefficient, which we are going to discuss in a more elaborative manner, and the t-test can be used to test whether the correlation between the two variables is significant, and the t-test is R, and the standardized test statistic is this. So this is the way by which we are going to calculate it, and only two-tailed hypothesis test or rho are considered. So anyway, what I mean to say, that coefficient of correlation, if you are talking, it's quite important, and it's going to play a very important role. So I think we have talked a lot about correlation, and as far as the coefficient of correlation is concerned, either could be Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation or Spearman's coefficient of correlation. It's very important because this is going to give us a very elaborative view with the help of looking the figures. So there are certain constraints the correlation have when variables are more in numbers or when we have got more than two variables, in that case the correlation is not going to be possible. Then we are going to apply some other tools. So in our coming sessions we are going to talk more about the regression analysis and how this regression analysis differs from correlation, that we are going to discuss by and large in a more elaborative manner. Thank you very much.